What's up, YouTube? Ryan and Alex back with Dopamon again. We are here to discuss something that happened, some big news in the NHL today. The Minnesota Wild have bought out the remaining 4 years of Zach Parise and Ryan Suter's contract. The big contract that they both signed years ago. We'll flip over here.
Yeah.
It was a 13-year deal they signed on July 4th, 2012. I have on the screen here, this is just Zach Parise. They have an identical contract, the two of them, the way it's structured. So they bought out the last 4 years, $7.5 million it would have cost them. And now, if we go back to their current dead cap space, this is what it looks like for the Minnesota Wild going forward. Uh, Next 4 years are kind of the same, and then there's 4 years that you can't see on the right because it doesn't end until 2029. It's eight. They pushed it to 8 years basically with this buyout. And we're here today to talk about this because we
We
don't
don't understand it.
we don't get it.
We don't get it at all.
And we don't get it at all. We're kind of hoping making this video that Hockey YouTube or someone in the comments can try and make sense of this for us, because we were talking about this earlier. We decided to make a video on it. I don't know what the logic here is. I really don't. We got the only thing you save really is this upcoming season, where you save about $5 million,
And won the next year, and that's
and then
it.
one the next year, and then 23-24 and 24-25 is essentially the exact same cap hit as they would have had otherwise.
They
It's
could have been paying them.
They could have essentially just been paying them to play. They save $200,000 in cap hit a year, and then they have $833,000 cap hit, so a little less than $1 million, which isn't crazy, but for 4 years after that. I don't know if
And
this is
like,
a money thing for them.
it's not a roster spot issue. They're not incredibly deep. They haven't been trying to get anybody up there. They'll clear, like waivers if they don't want them on the roster and they want to send them down. They're paying them this money anyway. It's not the last 4 years of the buyout, 833,000. Like it's not tough to deal with. But if you're gonna be paying the next 4 years most of their cap anyway, why wouldn't you be paying them to be on your roster playing as opposed to paying them still and they're playing on some other team? I've heard reports that Parisi's, could be going to the Islanders or something like that.
Heard that too.
He's got Lou Lamoriello. I think they have a relationship. Like, you're still paying the guy, and he's going to be scoring against you. So I just don't see the logic in buying either of them out.
Yeah, because the other thing is too now, because this is dead cap space. This is cap that they have to pay, have to accumulate going forward. You can't do anything with it. It's just dead now. You
Yeah, and
can't
they
put
can't
it.
trade it.
You can't trade it. You can't put it on LTIR. You can't. You know, I'm more shocked about the Ryan Suter one. Zach Parise could have been like, okay, he's been a little bit declined. He's not he's not in our plans going forward. But Ryan Suter's still a fairly usable NHL defenseman, is he not? Like, he's going to get picked up pretty quickly in free
hmm
agency. I'm fair. I'm pretty certain of that anyway.
Seeing Duncan Keith have value traded for, by to Edmonton, like that, I can't see why Ryan Suter wouldn't have the exact same kind of demand.
Mm-hmm.
There's, especially if you can sign him for cheaper. I think any team's going to be, every single team in the NHL might be sending him a message being like, hey, how much do you need for 1 season, 2 seasons? Like,
Yeah, it's kind of incredible to me. I don't understand it. Alex doesn't understand it. I looked into it a little bit. The only way I can see this being, they did this year is, I'm just going to switch over, is because both of these contracts had a tight no movement clause. So now that they don't have these contracts on the board for the expansion draft, they don't have to protect them anymore. Because they were going to lose a guy like Matt Dumba, right? With Ryan Suter's contract being on the books. Because the rules for expansion draft is you have to protect guys with no movement clauses, no, stuff like that. Um, I have up here just like a quick, you know, what it is now. So you're not losing a guy like Matt Dumba, or you're not losing a guy, like Kevin Fiala, maybe if they want to take a run at like an RFA. Um, this is what this is just a mock real quick of what I think they should do. I'm not a huge Minnesota fan, but guys like Nick Bonino and Marcus Johansson are UFA, so you don't protect them. Victor Rask is a bigger contract as UFA next year. You don't protect him. You protect a guy like maybe Nico Sturm or Joel Eriksson Ek, Nick Bjugstad over guys like that. But you have to protect Matt Zuccarello, as it says up there, Jared Spurgeon, because they have no movement clauses. So that's the only way that maybe that's what they were thinking. Like now they can protect their guys from the expansion draft that they wanted to, because Parise and Suter don't stop them from doing that. Other than that, I don't know, man. I really don't.
It puts them in such a bad position for the future.
Yeah, it really does. Like,
Is losing some value on trying to get something for Dumba and trade him, for instance, worth like just what like putting your organization in like a cap hell for
yeah,
the next 4 years?
for the next 3 years after this. This year is not going to be too bad. Two and a half ish, 2.3 for each contract. But after that, you're basically playing for their full $7 million average
Yeah.
contract for the next 3 years after that. So you can make moves this year with this free cap space, but then next year it's going to go back up,
And like,
and you're going to have to make
what
more
was the
moves to
point?
compensate.
Like, is keeping Dumba worth all that? Is signing Kaprizov and having him for 1 year worth all that? Like, this for next year, like, what happens? Do they plan to win the cup in 2022, and that's just their mindset and their goal,
Yeah.
and like I, it's a
As
tough position to
as
play your
far as
organization.
I know too, they weren't that cap strapped. Like they have $26 million now,
No,
so like that's with the $14 million that they've saved from these two buyouts. I can't remember exactly what the number was before, but
but also the
you need to sign
2.3 back each on, right?
yeah,
Like the
and
dead cap, yeah, yeah,
yeah, true, the dead cap. So you're only saving about $10 million
10.
ish in cap space this year. You need to sign. That would have given them what 16 million to play with total. You can sign Kaprizov, Kevin Fiala, Nick Bonino if you want to bring him back, and maybe sign a couple guys in free agency. Like you have the
Yeah.
room. It's not like they were strapped. And then if you really wanted to do it, you can trade a guy like Victor Rask, who's $4 million is a little high for what his role is with the team, even though he played very well. $4 million for that kind of player might be a little high. You can trade that contract. He's still a serviceable player. $4 million off the books all of a sudden. But now you've strapped yourself for the next 4 years. And the other thing, you can't put these guys on LTIR now.
Yeah, they're stuck.
That's
Like
just their cap hit now.
that's it.
Like Ryan Suter, I don't think he could have gotten away with it because he's been very healthy his whole career. But Zach
Hmm.
Parise has been on and off very injured in his career. He's missed a whole bunch of games with various injuries. I think it's his knee that's the one that has gotten him out a
Yeah,
couple
his
times.
lingering. Yep,
Is his lingering one.
slowed him down a lot.
But yeah, like you can't like you couldn't have ate this 2 years of this contract just to put Zach Parise on LTIR in a couple years. Now all of a sudden that I don't know if it's the way this contract is structured, then they couldn't do that. I don't know because this contract is weird. There's like both of these contracts, the way they were structured is strange. So yeah, we're confused. Let us know in the comments if you're confused too. And if we're missing something, please let us know because we've been talking this through for a while. We haven't seen any takes from anybody yet online. Um, Wanted to get this out to you and then talk about this, but yeah, you have
And what do
anything
you
else?
guys think of Bill Guerin's job future if this doesn't pan out? This is a huge, huge, huge like decision for an organization to put yourself under for the next 4 years.
Yeah.
Like potentially, tearing up your, like you're putting yourself through cap hell. That's a huge step. Like, if this doesn't pan out, does he get fired? Does he stick around? And that's something that, we should also keep an eye out for.
Yeah. I also
And
want
these
to point
contracts
out.
were signed in 2012 and will
Yeah.
continue until 2029. 17 years of this one contract is going to be biting you in the ass. That's that's a tough sell for an organization.
Yeah. One more thing I wanted to point out is the actual total salary of this contract drops after next year. It's $6 million this year, and then the next 3 years is $4 million total. So it's not even like this was a money thing or a money decision to get a lot of money off the Minnesota Wild's book after couple pandemic strapped years. It's not even that. Like I don't know. Let us know what you think.
That's why the last 4 years were pretty cheap to buy out.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, let us know what you think. Like I said, because this is interesting. There's a lot of angles you can look at this at. But in my opinion, I can't speak for Alex, but in my opinion, this is the wrong move right now
Yeah,
for
I,
these
I
contracts.
completely agree. Short and long term, I don't see this one panning out. Maybe that there's some, like you said, expansion draft thing, but I, even then, like, it's not, I don't think that, this is worth what they could have lost had they not made this move.
Yeah,
Like trading someone like Dumba and losing a little bit of value would have been worth the cap hell that they're just going to go through now.
yeah.
Trying to get a team together. I don't get it either. I'm not on board. This is,
Interesting decision by Minnesota. Anyway,
I've always considered them like a cusp team. And, like they got to, I've always liked both of these players, but this is why I don't think that they'll ever be, like a true cup contender. And because you get decisions like this.
hmm. Anyway, Minnesota fans, let us know what you think in the comments down below. Leave a like on the video for more hockey content, and subscribe to the channel where we'll have a lot of stuff going forward for this NHL offseason.